I'm not all that smart. I've struggled with learning most of my life. And when I say most of my life, I really mean all of my life. My earliest memories from childhood are of me struggling to understand things. Concepts, ideas, information, you name it. Basically, everything was confusing to me. So if you take that and then add to it a speech impediment that didn't get treated until I was well into elementary school, you get a person who basically had no idea what was going on around them, but also lacked an effective means of asking people for help so that he could get caught up. Essentially, that's how you get me. And I've been playing catch up pretty much my entire life. Not being all that smart is a challenge in all sorts of different ways, not the least of which would be in academic settings. That's where things really start to fall apart. But that's a story for another day. Today's story is all about navigating the world when you're not the smartest person in the room, even if you're the only person in the room. But what I found is a good equalizer for a lack of intelligence is conscientiousness. It's a great equalizer, and it makes you appear a lot smarter than you probably actually are. Or at least it can. And one of the ways it does that is by just slowing you down. Because I know some smart people who say stupid things rapidly. As in, they don't think before they speak. They just blurt stuff out. And I always wonder why they do that. Because I know that they're smart, and yet here they are saying stupid things. And then I realize it's because they have a complete lack of conscientiousness. Basically, they speak first and think second. Those people are pretty fun. And that's kind of the primary issue with being smart, but not having a great deal of conscientiousness. It makes people a little bit arrogant. They trust a little too much in their intellect. Whereas conscientious people, they think first and then they speak. And because of that, they oftentimes appear much smarter than they are. Which, to my mind, when it really matters, that makes conscientious people smarter than smart people. At least when it really matters. And generally speaking, conscientious people are better to have around. And they're certainly better to have in your inner circle. It's one thing to get advice or help from somebody who's smarter than you. But if you can find somebody who's conscientious, that's a person that has your best interests at heart. And the other thing about conscientiousness is that the people who are the most conscientious tend to have a better grasp on life. That's not something you can say about every smart person you know. Then again, what do I know? I could be totally wrong. Because after all, I'm not that smart. I do have an appreciation for that lone genius who is sitting in his or her lab working on a cure for cancer or some similar thing, inventing time travel,